Hello, I'm David Archer. This is the introduction of antennas for non-specialists. This course was intended to provide some background for people who deal with antennas in the course of their jobs or just maybe as a hobby. It will be quite technical, but it's going to also not cover everything that you might be interested in for antennas. So this is really for people who just want the basic knowledge. I plan on maybe doing another course after this with more in-depth material or just some bonus material. We'll see how that goes. So basic outline, we're going to start out with the review of basic physics. The physics that will be relevant for this course. Next, we're going to talk about coordinate systems, which are important in defining how you point an antenna or how you measure an antenna, or if you want to use an antenna. We also are going to talk about basic RF concepts like what is a dB, what's gain, what's directivity, what's noise figure, some other RF ideas. Then we're going to get into antenna concept proper, like what is an antenna, what are the things that characterize an antenna, an introduction to what an antenna pattern is, and that sort of thing. The next is polarization, which is kind of a very confusing topic for most, and we are just going to touch the surface on polarization. But we are going to cover concepts like what is linear polarization, what's circular polarization, what's left-handed, right-handed polarization, what's elliptical polarization, how you define it. It can be a very confusing subject, but we'll get the basics down. Tale of two equations, yes. So this is where we're talking about how two antennas couple, or in case of like a radar, when you have put out a signal and you receive a signal back, what is the received power? That sort of things. So we'll cover that. That's a basic thing you want to know when you're dealing with antennas. We'll talk about some basic antenna measurements. This is like how to make measurements on antennas, like how to measure an antenna's gain or how you measure an antenna pattern. That'll become clearer as we get through this course, what I'm talking about there. And then a module on itself on antenna patterns, which is something that is very useful to understand a little bit more about. So that's broken out into a separate module. We're going to talk about all the different types of antennas, well, not all of them, many of the different types of antennas you might see, because every day people are coming up with new ideas for antennas. So we're going to break them up into various categories so you can recognize what you're looking at. We're going to talk about array antennas, which is in some way simpler, in some way harder than dealing with actual single antennas. But it's something that is very useful to understand. And then at the end, we're going to add near-field measurements. Assumptions. Assumptions are the student here has 1 year of college level physics, and included in that is some basic electromagnetic theory. And some familiarity with calculus. When we drive some things with calculus, it's fairly simple. But even if you don't have this background, you might not understand the derivations of some of the concepts that we're going to be showing in this course, but you'll probably still get something out of it. Just be prepared that you may not understand some of what's going on in the course, but you should still get something out of it. Okay, that's it for now. See you in the next module.